Thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the 2017 budget and issues surrounding it. And I have with me in the studio the Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and also an economist, Boyo, who's been giving insight into these issues. Now I'm going to come to you now. The issues of the lawmakers, between the lawmakers and the executive, which we brought up. At the end of the day, there was a little bit of increase, in about 143 billion naira added to this. But at least there's a change from what was presented by President Buhari. So should we say this is, they mean well for Nigerians with this move, or what do you think is really the issue between the legislature and the executive with regards to this budget? What do you make?
Well, the legislature has come under a lot of stick for the appetite for expenditure, whether lavish expenditure or real or requisite expenditure is another thing. So it wasn't surprising when they increased the allocations to the National Assembly by 143 billion naira. And of course, the executive wasn't too happy about this. But it seems that the acting president has decided to toe the path of peace and accommodated in the budget the 143 billion, but on condition that the things, those items, like the Niger Bridge, the dams and other things like the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and things like that, the Lagos-Calabar Railway and things like that, which the National Assembly had tampered with before, could be reinstated in the course of the year. In other words, the National Assembly, the Federal Executive submit a environment for those, the implication of that is that you now find that the budget is actually would actually be higher than 7.44 something. It even becomes rather indeterminate. But we're still, where do you want to get the additional money from? Again, we're going to borrow. And we're already at the very precarious situation where it is alleged or is reported that we spend almost 50% of the actual revenue that we earn from taxes to service our debts. And that really is a very scary situation because we may really be building up a debt burden that our children and grandchildren would have to bear for many years to come.
Now, DG, after all of this increase and all of that, a little bit of sectorial allocation now, the power works and housing still remains, you know, still having the highest, what I have, 529 billion naira. Are we going to expect a lot of projects in that sector? You know, we're still waiting. Nigerians are expecting lots and lots from this government.
You see, the truth is that we need to moderate expectations from the budget, because the magnitude of the challenges that we face as a country is not something that these budget numbers can solve at all. If you look at the infrastructure master plan, we need, going by the estimate in that plan, we need annually $100 billion US annually for the next 30 years to be able to bridge the infrastructure gap. That alone is even much more than the entire budget. So the budget, we need to moderate expectations from the budget. And what I think is more important, and from the private sector point of view, is the right kind of policy environment, the commitment to the ease of doing business that we are beginning to see, so that you can see much more private capital in this economy. If you have the right kind of policies, tax policy, monetary policy, interest rate policy, foreign exchange policy, trade policy, if the combination of all these policies are right, this economy can attract multiples of what you have in the budget. And that is where the emphasis should be.
Absolutely.
As to whether this budget can solve all the problem, I don't think so. Because the problem is much bigger than what we have.
Okay, one final word now on this topic now, because I know you also talked about the policy framework, ease of doing business, and what do you also think should be?
Well, I totally agree. But you know, the economics and the management of an economy is not rocket science, okay? That's why I said first, inflation is the most critical thing. If you can tackle inflation and bring it to best practice levels of 2%, cost of funds will come down. If cost of funds come to 5 or 6, 7%, as Mr. Yusuf has rightly said, we have enough money here to invest. Not to talk of the foreign, we have so much money that the CBN is so worried we have so much money and continues to mop it up every week. You know, so if the money is so plenty and we're still crying that we don't have, something must be wrong. We must really examine and interrogate. This is no joke.
Thank you very much for your time for joining. Thank you very much, DG Muda Yusuf, and also Mr. Boyo. Thank you very much for your time.